everybody thought of pool, like in the last 10, or say 25 years ago, was a smoke-filled bar room sort of thing.
Yeah.
Now it's more of a, you know, posh thing. You know, there's very posh billiard clubs you can belong to. You know, it's like health spas and stuff. I mean, you know, pool is, its image is brought up. Do you think television had a lot to do with that?
I think two things, basically, and of course many things. You can't really pinpoint it on two things, but I think two things. I think the introduction and innovating it and creating the market in '77 and bringing seasoned world-class players on television and letting them do the trick shot expertise. And the other thing, that in the last 4 or 5 years, we've introduced the sport into the churches. And you're talking about hundreds of millions of people that attend churches from all walks and all different walks of faith.
Now, this would be considered like taboo like 20 years ago. I mean, having a pool table in the church, I mean, that's was kind of...
And you know what, of all the exhibitions I've had opportunities to do in different churches, Baptist churches, Pentecostal churches, whatever denomination, I've never had anyone really come up and say, oh, what are you doing here, and all the rest. They see what the response is, how it brings the family in, how it brings the father in. And it's that old thing about, you know, when anything's bad, there's got to be a good side of it. And I've got lucky and found the good side of a beautiful, beautiful sport. I want to, this is the book that was brought out in '78, the second book. I'm not plugging books or anything.
No, no.
But there's just, this is a book that we came out in 1978, which was My Winning Secrets.
Oh, yes. Well, that sold very well.
Yeah, it's done very well. But what it's done is it's helped families understand the game better. And the games that I like to play in shopping centers and television and places of entertainment, Las Vegas, where it is 9-ball and 8-ball, which are quick games. And it allows the family to have equal footing in playing. That means whether you're a male or a female, your height, your size, or your weight, you have an opportunity to play, and to play well, and to win at it. Now, you can't win every game. People say, well, have I ever lost a game? Sure, I've lost thousands of games. If you had like a race to 7 or a race to 11 or something like that, I would probably season out and play a defensive game or offensive game and win the match.
So when you play somebody, you're not going for just the one game. It's usually out of 7, as you say, out of 11. 7 out of 11, 4 to 6.
Now, when we play in the shopping centers all over Canada, United States, we introduced the game of 9-ball, which is very popular because it's quick. You have 9.
That's the game that's being introduced on television.
Yeah, that was the one that I introduced.
Action game.
I just sort of surfaced the game. They were wondering which games they should use when I sat with the board members in '77, ABC Wide World of Sports, with Big Fights Incorporation. I was there and asked Big Fights to help promote the game and introduce it to television. When I sat there in the meeting with Jim Jacobs, I encouraged them that they needed to play like 9-ball and 8-ball and 6-ball because these were faster games and easier to televise.
Not these marathon sort of games.
And it allowed everyone to, it's like two boxers getting in a ring. You put a pool table in there, you can put a rope around it and get 2 players in there, amateur or professional, and let them go at it with each other.
Now, interestingly enough, you were telling me that women are probably on the average better pool players than men.
Yeah, it's funny you should bring that up. That's another point that I wish that men would understand about this, the importance of hitting the ball softer. Now, sometimes I say that women are better players than men, and most of the time they are in exhibition matches because they have the smartness and the intelligence to realize you have 2 curvatures, right? 2 round objects, and that they're going to roll, and all you have to do is hit the ball softly. So if you hit the ball softly, it's going to go into the side pocket or the corner pocket, and it's not going to bounce back out.
That's right.
Whereas a man tries to overpower the ball. And what happens is they hit the ball and it goes in and rattles around. It may be a plastic cup in there or a leather cup, and it just throws it back out and throws it on the floor. They're trying to like shoot it like a gun or you know, hockey. Like I played at the shopping center at the Oshawa Center, and I played a lot of people that must play hockey or something because they were hitting that ball like a hockey puck. You know, I thought I was playing with Bobby Orr.
Now, I put professional pool players in the same category as magicians, whereas they have their secrets and you know, they want to keep things to themselves. Now, for you to learn another secret from another pool player, I suppose that, like a magician, you have to pay for it. Pay for the trick or pay for the secret.
You are asking the most brilliant, intelligent questions I think I've ever been asked on a television show. You have tremendous insight in this game, which tells me you like the sport.
Oh, I've enjoyed it very much.
And the thing about pool players is that they are the most talented athletes in the world. They're the most misunderstood breed of people. But a seasoned, advanced, a pro and amateur pool player is one of the most talented professional athletes in the world, because if you play a good game of pool, you can play golf or tennis or racquetball.
Coordination. There's a lot of eye-hand coordination.
And hit into the 70s, and I may never play like golf, and I'll hit like in the 70s, the high 70s or the low 80s. And it's just that follow-through, that ability to concentrate. We were at the Sir James Whitney School for the Deaf a couple of days ago, and I watched the intense concentration of these boys and girls. You know, they just got in and zeroed in on making that ball. And I thought to myself, you know, how beautiful this game is and how it reaches in to people from all walks of life. This sport, now you talk about pool. The shows that we have done has like the highest ratings of any show ever on television. We did like the 700 Club several months ago down in Virginia Beach. Pat Robinson, Ben Kenslow's 700 Club.
Sure.
They reached like 100 million people. They showed it like 8 times in a row.
Is that right?
Yeah, and they have like international, they have their own satellite thing. And it reaches, the deep psychology of this game is so mind-boggling. It's so reaching into the humanity of a woman or a man. I have never had a person come to me and say they do not like pool.
Well, I know that probably psyching the other player out has got a lot to do with winning a game in pool. I mean, more so than say other sports. You know, like if you could, I suppose you go into a pool room, and not now. I know that everybody knows you, but when you were a youngster, going into a pool room, you went in with the idea that you were the best pool player around and nobody could beat you. And as long as you conveyed that message to the other players, then you find yourself doing relatively well.
Yeah, I could tell a good pool player if I see he has his own cue and I look at the tip. If he has a nice clean ferrule, you see my ferrule, my shaft, just feel that. It's like silk, right?
Yes, it is very smooth.
And then the ferrule is nice and clean. If I look at a pool player and see that he keeps his tip clean and he's got a nice clean tip here, I know he's a good player. And then the other thing is when I reach for his hand,
right,
and I grab his hand and shake it, and it's a little moist or wet, I know he's not too confident about his sport.
Right.
What it is. And many times when I do exhibitions or play real good players, I'll shake their hands and I'll look deep into their eyes.
Sure.
And I can feel sometimes the raindrops falling down. You know, I'm confident about my sport.
Now, practice has got to be one of the major things that keeps your game up to where it is. Now, do you practice daily? 3 or 4 hours daily?
3 or 4 hours. I didn't get to practice today. I was real busy with friends and out doing some promotion in the area here in Belleville.
Traveling on the road, doesn't that seem awkward? I mean, you're going different cities all the time? Or?
Well, it's never awkward because wherever I go, I find people, hundreds of people that have pool tables in their homes. And they invite me over to play. Sure. And when they invite me over, I just go to the pool table. I never leave. They can bring the cookies or coffee and cake right there because I'm not going to leave. When I do these exhibitions, they got to like drag me off. They hire me for like 2 or 3 hours for like $1,500 a day or whatever the exhibition fee is. And I really don't care. I'm there because I like pool. Whether they're going to pay me or not doesn't really matter because I'm enjoying the thing. And what it's doing for me and what I'm receiving from the sport is beyond words. I mean, we're working on a book now. A publisher's been after me for a couple of years to do a book. And they call it Control.
Right.
The control of the sport and the game. And this game is great, Kevin.
What do you see yourself doing in the future? Would you like to just continue what you're doing? Would you like to start your own club or something like that?
The people always ask me that. There's a good friend of mine, Cliff Thorburn, has a club in Toronto.
Snooker player.
I'm not really into that. I've had opportunities to do that, and I've had opportunities to open up family emporiums and places like that. I just see myself as an evangelist, bringing people to the sport, introducing family because they'll love it.
Bruce, we could go on and on and on. Pool is like second nature to myself. Right.
This is part 1. Part 2.
Thank you very much. It's very interesting. I hope everybody's learned as much as I have, and thanks once again.
Thank you very much.
That's it for this edition of Update.
You have been watching community programming on cable.